All right, so there's been a lot of misinformation going around about this Idaho shooter. A lot. Gosh, I mean, as soon as they figured out who he was, people got pictures of his mom and his stepdad, who were both wearing MAGA hats, MAGA, whatever, and immediately said, oh, it's another right-wing crazy psychopath MAGA family killing everybody and stuff like that. And let me first just be very clear. I am, when it comes to politics, I'm very libertarian. I agree with both sides. I would say I probably tend to lean more. I don't even like to use the word conservative because I'm not super conservative about a lot of things. But let's see. You could probably place me in the same category as like Joe Rogan, probably, if I were to have to say that. Probably aligns with my belief system a little bit more as far as like politics go. Kind of like that. So, although I did vote for Trump, I will say that because I believed he was best for our economy. I'm not like Trump is God sort of craziness, but the one thing that really bothers me is that the left, and even though I agree with the left on some things for sure, they hate Trump so much that any chance they can turn anything anti-Trump, they will immediately. It's like a knee-jerk reaction for them. This kid was not MAGA, okay? He hated his fucking parents. He hated that they were Trump supporters, they were conservatives. He hated the way that they believed. He hated cops and firefighters. He hated everything that Trump basically stands for, sort of thing. And to a point where he had made threats against his family for who they were and what they believed, so much that his family had a restraining order against him. And he had been arrested a couple years ago for assaulting somebody with a knife. And he what else was I going to say? I don't know for sure, so don't judge me on this one, okay? This is just me using critical thinking skills. So I don't know, people are probably going to get upset about this, as if I'm saying something. Based on some of his pictures and stuff like that I've seen, he tends to take a lot of similar type pictures to people in... It sucks that you have to fucking step around your words with this stuff, dude. Let me just say, dude, I'm not being... In no way... I am not anti-LGBTQ, any of that. Like, in no way, shape, or form. Okay? At all. I have friends, people that I love very much, that are like that. I have... When I was in the military, I fucking stood up for one of my buddies that I'd been downrange with, which I had no idea that he was even gay. He kind of sounded like it, but it's not like I was going to say anything. And he ended up telling me when we were down there in Iraq or whatever, and we had this whole long conversation, because that was the first time I'd really come across it, where I wanted to make sure that he was not interested in me whatsoever. Because as a straight dude, that's your first thought, like, all right, bro, you ain't trying to fuck me, are you? He was like, no, absolutely not. Anyway, so when we got back from deployment, some people had figured out that he was gay, and they wanted to beat the shit out of him. And me and my other buddy, Vaughn, fucking stepped in at the bar, and we were like, you're going to have to fucking go through us, dude, because that's our fucking boy. So, anyway, that story is to say I have nothing against it. And I truly, as a libertarian, I believe everybody has a right to be whoever and whatever you want, dude. I don't care if you like cows, even though in my mind, if you like kids, it's fucking disgusting, and I don't like that, and I do think it should be illegal, and it is illegal, and I'm happy for that. If that's your choice, that is your choice. I think it's gross, but that is your choice. You know what I mean? Just your freedom to like whatever you want, and I am 100% for freedom. You know what I mean? So now that I've said that and got that out of the way, so people understand, because if you say anything like this, they're gonna say you're transphobe or whatever, and that's just fucking utter nonsense. Some of the pictures that this kid took seem similar to some others that I've seen from like the trans community, or even just maybe it's gay. I don't know. I don't know a shit ton about that stuff. So, and I don't know how to explain it. It just is you'll have to look at his pictures and just notice just the way they look, the feel to them and stuff like that. And you may disagree with me, and that's fine. You don't have to agree. I'm just telling you what I've seen based on other things that I've seen in my life. And that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying, I just letting you know, this person really is not MAGA in any way, shape, or form. So, before all of that gets just spread around like wildfire, dude, it's best to understand these people are jumping the gun, man. They just need to do, if they would have done 5 more minutes of research, they would have figured this out. But a couple firefighters are dead. This kid is dead. They I think at this point they're not sure if he ended his own life or if somebody else did. Yeah, somebody did mention that when he was growing up, he used to like firefighters and stuff. So what they've kind of said is that, like, as he was growing up, I think he did fit in a little bit more with his parents, like the MAGA sort of system, right? And then it sounds like a typical kind of story of like a kid who's growing up, and I don't want to say a bunch of crap, and is kind of slightly brainwashed by the media, by TikTok, by schooling and stuff like that, to make them believe a lot of these other things, and to especially believe that MAGA people are terrible, and evil, which means anybody who's like them, firefighters, cops, stuff like that, they're also the enemy, you know what I mean? And then people get you've seen it, you've seen the kids screaming in the streets and stuff like that. They're very vicious and very hateful, and they won't even listen to an argument from the other side. It's kind of the situation that happened here, because it sounds like he used to really like firefighters, but something happened and he had a major switch, and he hates them, and hates everything that stands with conservative values whatsoever. Yeah, so that's what it's looking like. It's a sad story either way, but just as always, be careful, and don't even believe me if you don't. Be careful what you hear. Be careful where you're getting your information from. You know what I mean? I try to do research and dig into this shit and figure it out before I bring anything to you, because I don't want to spread misinformation. Like I said, I'm not one side or the other. So, fucking. If you don't believe me, please prove me wrong. Please try to prove me wrong. It's good for you to do the research and shit like that. So anyway, it's just so everybody knows, it's that's what's going down right now. So thanks, peace, goodbye.